Well, here it is. Welcome to WOW, Tampa, sponsored by T-Mobile. And thanks to Mind Body Social for making this happen. It is a virtual 5K. And so we are here to motivate you, get you moving. My name is Miguel Fuller from HOT 101.5. And so I am running beside you. I'm in your earbuds, but I'm sitting at home right now with a couple of guests that are experts at running. And so they're going to be motivating you with some personal stories, some tips as you're going along. If you are a newbie like I am when it comes to running, but wanted to say a quick thank you to Mind Body Social for everything they're doing in the Tampa Bay area to sort of focus on your health. They've got a lot of great things happening over the next few weeks. They've got a yoga, a workout, so many different things that they're doing. Kids yoga, it's going to be really cool, and it's happening all over Tampa Bay. So let's go ahead and, as you're warming up and getting ready, talk to Laura Bradley, who I think you need a permanent medal that goes around you everywhere you go. You ran a 50K recently?
I did in the beginning of February. My
Wow.
first official one. I did 35 miles on my birthday, but a lot more casually. So this is the first time I've gone to a race and done an official ultra.
Wow. Okay. So before we get to the 50K, sort of give us your background on running and how you got to that
Sure.
point.
So like a lot of people, I'll be honest, in high school and everything, I hated running. Dreaded it and all that. But long story short, I moved down to Florida right after college and would run a little bit, but I was trying to honestly just kind of do stuff on a budget versus joining a gym. So I started running and then got addicted like so many people do. And it just became part of my life. Like you just do it every day. It's like your coffee, right? And then, fast forward, gosh, I don't know, 10 years or so, probably around that. So like 3 years ago, I kind of was, like a lot of people, I work in finance. I was kind of burnt out with my corporate job. And so I was like, what do you love, Laura? Trying to remember back, what my passion is. And it's traveling and running. So the second I fly somewhere, I put my bag down and I go run and I go see where everything is. Cause then I know, where the breweries are and like the cool spots to go have like cocktails and stuff. I know if I can walk back, right? Because I just went for a little run. See, it's good information. I can see Miguel nodding along with that.
Absolutely.
But so from there, I was thinking about that and I started Googling, do people do tours for running? Because at the same time, I live in the Soho area of Tampa. So it takes me like a mile and a half to get downtown. So I was running the Riverwalk. I was watching all the development and it was just like the perfect good storm, right? If I'm like, people probably want to see this stuff and run. So I did my, research. I found Go Running Tours. They're actually based in Denmark, in Copenhagen. So they're a global company. They've been doing this a lot longer than I have. I've been doing it for about 3.5 years. And, I just wrote them a letter, honestly, at like 2:00 in the morning, pitching why Tampa was amazing and why I needed to show people this city. And here I am now. I still run Tampa. I've got a girl named Allie in St. Pete who lives over there. It's important for us to have people like in their location. So she runs there. I have a girl in Orlando, and I'm trying to get all of Florida going with these tours. But for right now, I'm in Tampa, just showing it off and, just trying to grow that business. So that's kind of my story of running. And then the longer distances have I think that just happens to a lot of us. You just keep wanting to run more and more. You need a little bit more each over the years.
Something else to aim for, another goal to get to.
Yeah, exactly.
All
part of the running addiction, right?
I've always heard about the runner's high. I've never experienced it, but I'm excited for everyone listening right now. I'm about to do their 5K that they're going to experience it. This is going to be their day that they finally experience that runner's high.
Exactly.
I love it. And so that is Go Running Tours Florida. That's your company.
Go Running Tours is the company in Copenhagen, but yeah, all of Florida is under me.
So, okay, that's so awesome. Now,
yeah.
We have another guest here as well that is an influencer, that is all around a workout running guru, Carley. Now, Carley, I literally practiced trying to say your last name, and then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just let her say it because I don't want to mess it up.
Yeah, it's Carley Siedlecki. Siedlecki, very Polish.
Oh, I love it. I love it. So what are you and what is running to you?
Running is just, so I have to just touch on Laura and what you were saying. It's just, when I looked up Go Running, I was like, how does Laura go to like 50 countries? I was like, oh, she's in Florida. And it's just like so cool. So like for me, running has been like, I'm actually a little bit same, but different. Where in high school is when I did like cross country and track. College, I sat on a couch and drank beer,
Yes.
studied. And then like I moved to Miami in South Florida, and I'm from St. Petersburg, by the way. And I literally, the first box I opened had my running shoes, and I was like, wow, it's beautiful outside. And then like since that day, every day I went out running, not for time,
Wow.
not for speed, just going and seeing what's there. And I ran with dolphins.
Oh my goodness.
Like by the water, and just, so I think it's just like for me, running is just a chance to explore. So even in travels, I'm gonna be that person that brings up COVID. Is like I was supposed to do Berlin Marathon this year, and I was supposed to do Paris, and couldn't do either. But it's just like even being at home and just putting on my shoes and going out was like the like it's not slow motion obviously because you're running, but it's like an opportunity to explore your space and where you are.
Right. I love that. And hopefully you listening right now have already started your 5K journey. And once again, thanks to WOW Tampa and T-Mobile for making this happen. That's all put on by our friends at Mind Body Social. So I want to ask, because I'm sure that we have some novices in running like myself, how do you get to a place where you enjoy running? I feel like I've tried everything. I do CrossFit, and every year, usually around this time, I say, okay, by the end of summertime, I'm gonna be in love with running, and I'm gonna be excited when I see running in the workout. And I still can't get excited about it when I see it in the workout. So let's start with Laura. How do you help people that are new to running get excited?
Well, for me, and I'll just speak a little bit, from my personal experience, I've tried to, every once in a while be competitive at running or, be faster. And it really kind of goes back to what Carley was saying. I just enjoy running and exploring and seeing stuff. So that's my kind of my distraction. And actually, I had a tour like this past week, actually, where somebody said I can only do 3 miles, and we ran 7 or 8.
Ooh.
And I've had that happen before where somebody came out to a tour once and said, I don't really run. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like how'd you get signed up? Her friend had roped her into it. But long story short of that, like she got through the 5K. So for me, I just recommend just go run and enjoy it. Don't put so much pressure on yourself. Try to relax and actually get that runner's high. And, for me, I go explore murals and different things, but that's what gets me excited. It doesn't feel like running or like punishment. But also at the same time, it might just not be for everybody. Like I'll admit that some people just don't like running. You can't force everybody to like it, but I think it's a great way to relax.
I love it. I feel like somebody right now that's running currently, this is their first time, and like this is the day they fall in love, and they're gonna sign up for one of your tours one day.
Hopefully so.
I love it.
Get them out there and show them all the cool stuff in Tampa. That's another great thing about Tampa, right? There's like new stuff popping up every 10 seconds, so it doesn't get old.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. Good Lord. Carley, so what about you? What do you tell people that are new? Because I know that you coach also different types of physical activities, Carley.
Oh yeah, so I am also a yoga instructor for the past 10 years and like teach other classes at Bioelectric Athletic Company. And this has been resonating a lot the past couple of days. It's just like, it's not about what is there, it's about what you see. And that's huge for me. So like if you're new to running, and even if you're like running, forcing yourself to run, listening to this podcast, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna do it. It's like, it's not about, for me, it's not like, it's not always fun. That'd be a lie.
Right.
That'd be a lie. But it's like, where do you find the value in this time? And like that can come from visuals when we're traveling in Tampa or we're traveling in St. Pete or one of the like million places that you guys have to do tours. Or if it's just like going in my backyard for like 0.08 miles. It's where do you find value in that? and bringing your heart rate up and finding like a little bit of excitement from just getting out there can be huge.
Well, I think, Carly, you bring up a great point that you have to be honest about it. Like, it's not always fun. And I think if you set that expectation, for someone like me who I'm miserable when I do it, but then if I know, like, hey, it's not always going to be fun, but you're doing it, I think that can help motivate people so they're not like, all right, I did it for 4 days, I ran and I didn't have fun, but it's like, hey, if you keep going, you will get to that time where it's like, oh my gosh, I'm seeing new things, I feel good inside, and it really helps keep them going.
I have a really stupid story about it I want to share.
Please do. It's not stupid, it's valid. Somebody's going to find value in that that's running to this right now.
Yeah, so okay, my neighborhood is known for having an infestation of peacocks.
Mm, love
I
it.
live in Prada, over by St. Pete Beach, like just on the other side of Boca Ciega Bay. So anyways, we have them a lot in our area. And then I ran on the Pinellas Trail, which is like, it's basically a 50K. They have like the whole trail is very long through Pinellas. And like I got a certain point and I was like, oh, there's a peacock. Like,
Yep.
like 10 miles from where I live. And I was like, oh wow, they go out here. And like it's my own backyard in a sense where I'm from. This is where I live. And just seeing like subtle things,
Mm.
I just find that interesting. And I know the peacock thing, maybe not everyone who's listening to this is going to find a peacock in the run, but if you do, I'm very interested in hearing about it.
But I bet you, but I can imagine, that's special to you. You saw that peacock that one time, but I bet runners, you always experience something new when you're out. Like Laura, in your adventures of like going over or just running every day or even on the 50K, what have you run into like Carly with the peacocks?
Gosh, for that. Well, just before I forget, I was just going to say something on the last topic, and it's like kind of like a corny quote, but it's, I think, what was it? The only bad run is the one you didn't do. And it kind of made me think about that because it's
Say
true.
that
Like
one more
sometimes
time. Say that one more time.
the only bad run is the one you didn't do.
Love it.
Because right, like you go out sometimes, and a lot of people say they get through that first mile, and then all of a sudden it turns around for them. Now they feel good, they're glad they got out there, and sometimes it doesn't. Also, right? Sometimes it's just going to suck. So you have to embrace it. But in terms of things, gosh, like that for me, I mean, my running is just all over the place. I explore. I go down alleys. I'm known for taking a lot of run selfies. That's kind of my thing. Like trying to take them with stuff behind me, like different murals and like I live in Soho, so you've got like today's a good day. I try to get that, or like all those little motivational quotes all through the heights and everywhere. It's like I get stupidly excited about what I do. Like I love just getting lost and everywhere. And I'll find little things like I stare at the ground a lot too, like look for where people like write things. Like, and I'll find like somebody's name and I'll send it to them on Instagram and be like, oh yeah, check out your name here. So as weird as it is, like I genuinely am out there just having like a blast of running everywhere. And I ran in Lakeland actually last weekend. So I've been trying to explore different areas too. And I just kind of go. I just go look for murals and I get like giddy with excitement whenever I find something like that. So
I love that. So it's like finding the small things to enjoy, and sort of like making sure that when you're running, and actually, you know what, I can tell you that as a person who doesn't like to run, I can see how that could change my mentality though. So like if you're listening to this and wherever you are, if you're running outside your house, if you're running somewhere where you are familiar with, and maybe you're used to just listening to music, you're listening to us now and you're used to just staring straight ahead. But if you're doing like what Laura says and you look down, you look around like Carly, you look for maybe there's a flying squirrel that you've never known that was always there, or a rabbit, or you never know, but really taking the time to soak up what's around you can really help pass the time. And you're not just focused on, oh my gosh, my legs hurt, or, ooh, I'm feeling really tired, but you're really taking in everything that's around you. That's beautiful.
Yeah, and it helps also your heart rate can get out of control too, right? If you start overthinking your run, I've struggled with that in the past, like overthinking it or trying to hit a pace. And I just do better if I just don't think about it. Just go out there and run and see all the cool stuff.
Now that's interesting. So we are, let's see, let me check my timer. We are 15 minutes into the run. If you started when we started, keep going. You got this. Once again, thanks to Mind Body Social for making this happen, and T-Mobile. They got a lot of events, and also they have some giveaways on their website that we're going to get to here in just a little bit. But how do you keep motivated when you're in those tough moments? And especially living here in Tampa Bay, as we're about to get into like the really humid season. So like, Carley, how do you deal with that? And then we'll come to you, Laura. How do you keep yourself going when it's humid as all get outside?
Well, right now, literally you're 15 minutes into your run, and this is like the moment where I'm like, why did I do this again? What? Why? This is that moment. Did you run for someone? Are you running for yourself? I don't mean to get like really philosophical into it. It's like, why did I choose this? Why did I put those shoes on? That's the biggest thing, is like when I put the shoes on and committed to it, why did I do this? And you could also be mad about it. Like my boyfriend, I make him go running with me once in a while. He's in med school and like super serious, and we go for runs sometimes. And I'm like, why did you run? He's like, because you made me. And that's fine. Whatever keeps you going. This is your moment to remember, like, why did I choose this? And even if you're not feeling it right now, this is like, this is at least give yourself that little reminder of like that person back there behind you that was like, that's why.
I love that. Laura, what about you?
To stay motivated, gosh, anything. Like I said, like distractions. Sometimes I'll text somebody and they might say something that kind of, gets me going or keeps me going through it. But
or the brewery at the end.
Those do help too.
Yeah.
That's the only way I've ever gotten anybody to get me to do yoga for the most part, is like the yoga that ends at the brewery or that happens at the brewery.
You do tours that end at like breweries and stuff? Because like I feel like that'd be a huge motivation for me.
I do have one. I just, with COVID, I had stopped it, and actually I'll be honest, like nobody ever really did it. So, and I don't know why. I had one with Hidden Springs because that's right downtown, so it's like perfect. Plus you've got all the great murals right there with the heights. So, but no, nobody really did it. So I switched. I'll bring it back though. We are actually working on one in St. Pete. I'm actually supposed to go test that out with our guide Allie over there this Sunday. So she's put one together. It's got like way too many breweries to drink at every single one, but at least you'll get to see them all, because St. Pete has so many right in a row. So,
what are some of the most difficult runs that you've experienced, Laura?
My two most difficult runs, honestly, were the two marathons I did, because I wasn't training the right way. Until I did this ultra, it was like, only like in the last, like since summer, I started forcing myself to really go out with people and like learn how to fuel. Like I admittedly ran for a long time and was just weird about drinking water during my run, or like eating. Like I was paranoid that it would, like the same way that some people don't want to stop when they're running. And that was one of those two. Like you see people jogging at like a stop sign, until one day it's kind of a funny story. My friend just looked at me and said, "What the hell are you doing?" He was like, "You're just wasting your energy." And I was like, and ever since then, I'm like, I am literally wasting energy. I'm not going anywhere. So I don't do it anymore, mostly. But yeah, like where I was going with that is basically like, until I started really hitting those 20-mile runs and like getting comfortable with doing that once a week, I basically bombed those two marathons. Like I struggled. I was messaging friends like, I'm not going to finish this kind of thing. And I just didn't feel good either one. I finished the 50K and I felt great.
Wow.
So those long runs make a difference. Like I used to see people and be like, why are you guys going out and running 20 miles every weekend? Like every single weekend. I thought you just do that once. Right. And now I do it and I get it. So you just have to get to that.
Carley, go ahead.
I wanted to share my worst run.
Please do, absolutely. Somebody's experiencing it right now and they're like, oh my gosh, it's only been 16 minutes.
So I did a 50K. I did an ultra marathon in the Everglades. And for lack of a better word, they give you a rape whistle. where they're like, when you're running, if you run into a Florida panther or if you see alligators on the road, like blow the whistle and we'll have one of the rangers come out and help you. And like, I had to tell you, for a 50K, when I'm like, very worried.
Oh my gosh. Did you run into any alligators or any wildlife?
Okay, I did some hurdles over some alligators, and they're not that big of a deal. Like some, like obviously be careful.
Yes.
No panthers, even though it's like our national, was that national mammal or whatever, or not national, or our state mammal.
Oh, I did not know that. And now I'm terrified.
It's just like, also the 50K, I remember like at one point near the end, I'm like barely making it. Barely. Like I'm like, I just have to get to the finish line. I just have to get there. Like that's the goal. That was my intention. And then like some guy is walking faster than me, and I'm like, okay.
You're like, that's fine. Still going.
Yeah. And so again, it comes back to like the focus, the intention, and even when it's terrible, it's like, why? Why am I doing this?
So, but after that, Carley, when you were just feeling awful and then homeboy just, power walks past you and you're like, ugh, what was it like though when you crossed that finish line though?
Both very humbling and very exciting because, okay, I'm feeling my worst in the sense where this is really hard, right, Laura? It's hard.
Yeah.
It's not meant to be easy.
Yeah.
So when I actually, this is like side note, not that exciting, but like I got second place in my age group from that run. So like I thought I was doing horribly, and I felt like this is really hard. And then just to get that without even realizing what I've accomplished, and someone else acknowledged it. So in a race, they acknowledge your work. So even when you feel really like, oof, like I want to stop, and then you choose to keep going, someone notices. Somebody. Guaranteed someone has seen what you've done, whether you post it on Instagram or post it anywhere, or like you just come home to your puppy or your dog and it's like, oh, someone knows you did something really tough.
It's true. I love that. Anything to help everyone listening right now to keep going. So I'm going to come to both of you and ask you, what are 2 top tips that you would give to new people that are into running? What would be the top 2 tips? And maybe this is their first time doing it and they're power walking. They're like, I want to be like Lauren Carley and do a 50K one day. What would be the top 2 tips to get them there? I'll ask both of you here in a second. But when you are done with your race, we got up to $500 in gift cards that you can win. All you got to do is go to wowmbs.com/Tampa/win for up to $500 in gift cards. That's wowmbs.com/Tampa/win. And thanks again to T-Mobile for making this happen, and Mind Body Social for WOW Tampa. They've got a lot of events coming up over the next few weeks where you can do workouts with homeboy Connor, who was on The Bachelor. They've got yoga at the Ringling Museum by Ashley Stewart, a girls power workout. They've also are doing a workout at Apollo Beach Preserve, kids yoga from the Children's Museum in Lakeland, and so much more. So just go to wowmbs.com/Tampa to see all the events and to register to attend these virtual events. So now let's get to, okay, hold on. Let's do a little time check here. Let's see how our people are doing. 23 minutes. You're 23 minutes in and you got this. All right, so let's start with you, Laura. What would be your top 2 tips if someone's wanting to get into running for the first time?
Wanting to get into running for the first time. Top 2 tips. First one, just overall, don't beat yourself up, right? Like I think people get so hung up on what running is and they assign a certain pace to it is the biggest thing. Like I get that with tours, people are afraid to do it because they think they're going to have to sprint with me or something. And I would just say, I don't like sprinting anyway. So I'd probably fake it. I'd probably fake an injury or something. So I didn't have to do that. But no, seriously, like don't beat yourself up, walk. If you need a break, walk and then keep going. I think people think if they have to start walking, it's over. They got to stop their watch or something. They don't. And 2 would be, and I'm like so many runners and I don't do it or I hate doing it, but stretching and strength training. If you can get those good habits in from the start, unlike people like me who just like to run or go spin and not do all the stuff that keeps you from getting injured. Just trying to get those good habits, it's really would go a long way. Like I wish I had gotten into those habits from the beginning.
Any recommendations on what sort of stretches or resources on, how to stretch?
Gosh, I mean, as Carly probably knows too, there's a million different things that I can tell she probably wants to jump in and talk more on it. But yeah, I do a lot of pigeon pose is big for me because I have piriformis issues. So you get the sciatica down the leg. I've had that forever. So pigeon pose really stretches that out. And I mean, sometimes just going to any kind of yoga is good. But yeah.
Love it. Thank you, Laura. So Carly, what about you? What would be the top 2 tips that you would give new runners? And then also, because it sounded like you had some tips on where to learn how to stretch or how to stretch.
Well, first of all, Laura, I love what you were saying, 'cause it's so true. It's like cross training. So my first one was actually like an individual goal. It's like, you guys running right now, you guys chose to put your shoes on, you chose to get outdoors, or you got on a treadmill. Like, that's key. That alone, putting those shoes on, makes all the difference in the world. Picking this moment, huge. And then secondly, I was gonna say, harass your friends. So like, especially, so I can tell you this from experience. It's like, make like on Tuesday at 2 p.m., I'm gonna run every time. I don't care how far I go. As long as I go outside and move my feet, whether it's 5 minutes or 50 minutes or longer, I'm choosing this time. Tell your friends, and like, just keep being consistent, and your friends will follow. And that's such a beautiful thing, especially like during marathon season, half marathons right now. It's really hard to like really enjoy like Disney. It's hard to do Miami Marathon. It's hard to do like a lot of the ones in Tampa Bay right now. Gasparilla was canceled. Like, or I guess it was virtual. Laura, do you know?
Yeah, it's gonna be like virtual, but they're gonna close Bayshore, and I think that you actually are supposed to run on Bayshore. I don't know. I'm hearing all kinds of things.
But like, hard right now, and it's like these things that as experienced runners we value our individual runs, but then making it a group thing is so fun. It can be really, that inspires me, is doing it with a team. So right now, especially in our climate, it's like, just you make your schedule and you harass your friends.
Get them all involved. And I think everybody probably, especially since a lot of people are working from home, could use the motivation. So if their friends are like, hey, Tuesday at 6, we're going running, let's just set a little goal and let's do it. So Laura, I'm sorry, go ahead, Carly.
Oh no, this is me just being like, yeah.
Oh, did you have some resources for stretching?
Oh, for sure. So thank you for asking. I teach at the Body Electric in St. Pete. It's like both a yoga studio and athletic studio. And they just started their own little run group of just people who are passionate, some yoga people who are passionate. And it's amazing to watch. It's like people who are new at running jumping into it. And that comes back to, you put the shoes on, you just find some friends and you just go. So that's what I was going to share.
Well, that's perfect. So if you're in the Tampa Bay area, go to St. Pete, Mind Body Electric, get that yoga stretch on as you're going to run. Laura, how do you prepare for a long run? Take us through your process of getting ready to prepare for something like that.
Prepare for a long run, like a race, or you just mean for each weekend, like going out to run 20 miles?
Both. It's different.
For the race, it's honestly for me just hitting those 20-mile, goals, just so I can know that I'm going to get through it and not like die or something like that, like in the middle of it, kind of deal. But no, like for like a long run, obviously I got into the whole, having like a backpack that I run with, and I put like, it carries like 1.5 liters of water. I usually use body armor to get like electrolytes during that, so I put that in there and just grab like some different things. I use chips or maple syrup or any kind of different little treats to kind of run with. And also bring your credit card and your ID and your mask in case you need to stop somewhere and grab food or bathroom or any of that kind of stuff. Because that's also been a challenge, obviously, with COVID, right? Like running, bathrooms, everything being closed. So carry your card and have a reason to stop at a gas station.
Yeah, that's huge in Florida. It's like, especially as we're starting to get into spring and summer. Sorry for people up north, but we have like beautiful weather. So like it's super hot, like knowing your water stops,
Yeah.
having your backpack. Oh, sorry. I just love it.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
You have to know that the water thing is a big thing here. And plus, I like to run a lot of places like Ybor and places that don't have water fountains or any of that. And plus, those were all closed for a long time. But
That's great. So how do you get your water intake ready? Like, cause I know that like I'm used to in CrossFit where they're like, if you're trying to hydrate before you walk into the gym, you're already too late. You should have been doing it the day before. So like, is it sort of the same where like, if you
somewhat,
know
yeah.
you're going on a long run on a Saturday, you start getting your hydration in on that Friday?
Yeah, I would do that to a point, or at least make sure I'm not like dehydrated for sure. And then, just obviously be careful with what I eat the day before because you're gonna be running for that long. So you want to eat the right kind of food, nothing crazy. I kind of stay away from dairy or anything like that before too, like in coffee. Like I'll probably drink it black.
Mhm.
Just anything that might like upset your stomach or something too the next day. Because if you're gonna be gone for 4 to 6 hours, you probably want to feel as good as possible before you go.
I want to get to horror stories here in a second, because I feel like there's something there.
No, there's not because I'm prepared. But I've heard those stories before. Like I remember hearing about that, like high school, that kind of stuff happened to people on track. Yeah, so no, go out prepared.
I love it. Carly, what about you? What do you do before you go on a long run? Like, take us through your traditions and
Yeah,
how
well, I
you
was gonna
get
say it's
yourself
always a
ready.
learning experience. So if you go out unprepared, you're gonna learn real quick.
I can only
And you
imagine.
have really cool stories like we do. Um, for me, for long runs, like I just tend to have like a thick smoothie, like something that um gives me enough nutrition and gives me enough like energy to get through a run. Um, but again, like I also will come back to your water stops. Maybe knowing where there's some bathroom stops are probably a good idea too.
Hmm.
Ahead for your runs. Um, you don't have to, especially when you're visiting somewhere new. Like if you're coming to Tampa, you're going to, oh my God, all those places I saw online. What was it, like Greece and stuff like that? I'm like, oh my God. Or Amsterdam. I'm like, oh wow, that sounds great. But like, know that you have somewhere you can go and some safety stops too. So
Mhm.
my traditions pretty much are I'm a planner. I like to make sure I have a plan with it being open to interpretation as I go. And then also smoothie is my thing. Like I like a smoothie.
I love it. I think you all have really helped. If you're a new runner, or maybe if you're an experienced runner, you've got some really cool new tips, new places to go. Before we sort of wrap things up, because we're hitting a 33-minute mark here, I want to remind you listening that this is all made possible the next few weekends by T-Mobile, and thanks to the Mind Body Social for putting all this on. Wow, Tampa, thank you so much for making this happen and putting a spotlight on these physical things, because we live in paradise. And so we should be experiencing all of the beautiful things that our great city has to offer. And Mind Body Social is really doing a great job in putting a spotlight in hosting these workouts, these virtual workouts all over the city. But don't forget, we got up to $500 in gift cards that you can go sign up for now. Just go to wowmbs.com/Tampa/win. And also you can see the full calendar of all the events that are going on with Wow Tampa. Just go to wowmbs.com/Tampa. And Laura, how can everybody find you if they want to take one of these guided tours?
They can find me on, you can either go to gorunningtours.com and that'll see, that's obviously what Carly looked at, where you see the list of all the different cities we're in, or my handle on Instagram is just my name, Laura K. Bradley. So if you really search for anything for running tours, you'll probably find me. But I know we're running out of time, but I did just want to say, I know a lot of our events are in Sarasota and Lakeland. So those are other good places to venture out, right? I run downtown a lot, and I run in St. Pete. But I ran in Lakeland last weekend, and they've got a good downtown scene, cute little markets, and obviously Lake Wire and Lake Hollingsworth if you want to go down to like the Dixieland area, if you want to get like a lake run in. And they're actually getting ready to do launch a thing for over 100 new murals. So murals are what I get very excited about. So that's going to be coming to downtown. And then Sarasota, obviously their downtown's super cute. They've got good murals there. like around like Burns Court and everything. And then you can take the Ringling Bridge over. You can run over the water. That's, get your hill work in, which I don't enjoy, but it's pretty. And then I like my flat Florida runs. But and then that takes you over to St. Armand Circle, and you can, go from there and run as much as you want. So I just wanted to mention those other places to kind of check out.
I love it, Laura. I feel like you're like a human GPS. You could just know exactly where everything is all over the state of Florida.
My running directions are better than my driving directions for people. That's for sure. So.
I love it. Now, Carley, how can people get into contact with you? Because you have a couple different projects you have going on.
Yeah. Well, before I tell you, let me just say, anyone running right now, like, you're doing great. You're almost done.
Yes.
You got this. But okay, so for me, you can find me on Instagram or on Facebook at The Heart Racer, no spaces, The Heart Racer. And then also, if you're ever in St. Pete, pretty much any running event, like, I'll find you. As actually Laura and I have definitely come into contact. I'm not quite sure exactly where, but we have definitely crossed paths in running. I tip my hat to you.
We probably have. I get a lot of random like honks, and then I'll get a message later, and I'm like, what's that? So, guess it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and it sounds like too, from what you're saying, what I hear from Laura and Carley is that one important thing, if you want to get involved in running, is to find a community to do it. Not just go out by yourself, but to find a community to keep you motivated. That's
like,
what it sounds like.
But know that you're not alone. It's like, this is a very personal sport. Running is very personal. Running, walking, super personal. But know that we're all here for you. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, again, like Laura, I know we're gonna run into each other again, and it's just like, and like anyone listening to this, I will find you.
Okay, Liam Neeson, I will find you and we will run together.
But just know, like, we're all in this together. Like, it's true. Running is individual, but such a community. Like, welcome to the community. Seriously.
Perfect words to end it. Let's give a round of applause for everybody that just completed our virtual 5K. Once again, thanks to WOW Tampa, who and T-Mobile has made all of this possible. Mind Body Social, they are the ones putting all of these fantastic events together. Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Carley. You listening, make sure to sign up to get up to $500 in gift cards. WowMBS.com/Tampa/win. My name is Miguel Fuller, and I will probably be going past you on a bike as you're running.